Alright, you guys, welcome back to another live stream video. Please share, subscribe, hit that like button, and let's get started. White America is in a dreadful times. You know, her term has come, and now we are witnessing the fall. Now, Trump is putting pressure on employing these military ISIS agents. Now, I want to say this to my viewers that a lot of people are looking at America for what she is. In other words, you know, there's a lot of things we see that's happening. Noah's sister, I won't say her name, you know, said that they already made their way in an empire that's on, you know, the report I was hearing that 2 people was found dead right on F Street in Baseline. Now I know some of you would know what I'm talking about. So I told you guys now that they are declaring this martial law, and they are tightening the chain. So now we see what's happening, especially when we see what's going on in the South. But now we know that America, her days have come. And that she knows that there's still this Cold War that they have to settle with Russia. Now, I want to tell you guys that when Trump had made that visit to go over there, when he had visited President Zelensky, there's a lot of sharp disputes between the two. Things have escalated. Now, I want to say this to you, that what President Zelensky said, it wasn't nothing that was personal. He says that, yeah, we have nice waters and oceans. So I want to say this. Do y'all see what's happening? Do y'all see the buildup, what's going on over there in Alaska? A buildup is coming through North America. See, the Atlantic and the Pacific, you'll see that what the prophet Jesus has prophesied. Because we see in the Pacific Ocean is tossing up tidal waves to a Fahrenheit that man had never witnessed before. Now, this is another plague that's on the wicked. Now, there's still this Cold War between Russia and America. Now, when we look at why America is in a dreadful time, we got to explain this to you. Because America, especially North America, have entered into a time that was predicted by Moses and the prophet between him and Jesus. In the 24th chapter of Matthew, there is a prophecy made by Jesus as the present time of America without mentioning her name. He refers to the country as a world because this part of the earth is referred to in many places by the prophet and by Jesus himself as a wilderness. The name America is not yet 500 years old, so the prophet referred to it as the wilderness in their prophecy. It is terrific. I used the word terrible because it's not a thing that can be described as something mild or something that is moving slowly, nor something that can be recognized so easily by the common people. It is clear to all who can see that America had reached the stage about which she always had been warned. She always had wanted to keep it a secret because of her so-called Negro slave. She never desired for the slave to know too much of what was in store for her because of enslaving and mistreating her slave. She had wear them for the past 400 years, and she knows them. She knows how they think and how they react to her teachings, and she knows to fear her. She knows the slave, but slaves do not know America, the slave master. The great, dreadful, and awful day's doom is now in the door and windows of America. As long as Christianity worked it, America thought she was safe. Because we see it is one of the most deceiving and upright, misleading religions of the world. We see Allah God taught me to have carefully examine everything in the religion of Christianity. It's designed to make a slave out of black people. If Christianity was a red rag and wrung out every drop of right slavery for this black man. See, the world knows this now, but the spiritually blinded, deaf, dumb American so-called Negro, to whom I'm calling and appealing to reason. I'm calling them to reason with me on the truth and their own starvation that is now a truth of self and kind and the enemy of self. There will not be an end to the carcasses between black and white in America and throughout the world until wrong we see, evil, murdering, deceiving, and robbing this poor black man of the earth is destroyed, and righteousness and justice are practiced. And you see, the sad thing is they don't talk about the kids that's going missing. Just think in the Biden administration how much kids was going missing. See, we have in both administrations. So here's the question I have to ask. What have both of these parties done? What have Democrats and Republicans done in the last century for your freedom and justice and equality? See, this is the day we see of God Almighty to set up justice and equality throughout the earth. He is to free the black man, the American so-called Negro, from its deceitful, evil, and murderous enemies. America wished to oppose God in his work of bringing justice and freedom to our once slaves. But this is just what Allah God wants. He Allah wants America to attack him, to get the fight started, and to bring his judgment against her with the fullness of his strength and powers. America is bringing about the political gloom. We see here the politicians are unable to carve out a future for America. The plan of deceiving the so-called Negro politicians to work against their own freedom, justice, and equality. Starvation that alive God has brought you down is making the so-called Negro in high office become the enemy of his own people, freedom, justice, and equality. We see such office are held out as a bribe to get black politicians to work against the spread of the truth of their starvation. They are happy and their boss know that they are. To have a place near him in such office just for the purpose of trying to oppose Allah and his messengers and freeing this poor black man who is in the mud today. This is causing the political confusion and complete destruction of a house divided against itself. I'm asking in the name of Allah that the American governments agree on the separation of our one slave and their master. Of course, Allah God is significant. We want a home on this earth we can call home. We do not want to be slaves anymore to white people. We do not want to be free Uncle Toms for white people. We want to do something for self and go for self. We don't want to be no longer sissy pies, white man bootlickers. Now, however, America with her blind, deaf, and dumb politicians in class of the so-called Negro will bring a swift destruction upon the heads along with their doom that is enviable against the enemy. Now, brothers and sisters, I want to say, since we in this together and since we are in a whole cycle, please, brothers and sisters, listen to this. It is not 20 years in the future, nor 15 years. Let no one deceive you. We see it is here at our doors now. The dreadful pledges and confusion we see of America are beginning to boil. The few making it boil will not creep until it boils down to the last of the dregs. The present promise of a better future that America is making to the so-called Negro will prove to be false. And all of her false promises to the American so-called Negro will be short lives today by both, because the time of her doom has approached. America will have to do a marvelous thing of justice, a square deal to turn it back. A fasting show of tempting the Negro to filth and evil in that work. It takes justice to work to postpone the dreadful days of America. America lost a war Friendship is speeding her doom. America lost a war. You see, she might have won World War One and Two, but she lost this war. You see, all the friends that she used to have, she no longer have. Friendship is speeding her doom. Look, man, and I'm not here just to bash what's going on, but I'm here to tell you guys the truth that there's no friendship with America. She's being laughed, humiliated. All of the foreign countries are gaining their strength. You gotta understand something, you guys, that those sanctions and those tariffs and all these things that Trump is doing is not even affecting these countries today. You know how long Russia has been moving around with those sanctions? You know how India, Iran, China, and these countries is still supporting Russia to this day. You know, America knows that there's a Cold War that's going to be in the making because this Cold War between America and Russia, and with America and Russia being one of the most two powerful war factors, America knows sooner or later that she will have to go to war. See, she losing the power in the Middle East. So what do this mean? This means more bloodshed and plenty of it. So we see the deluge before the storm. See, I'm afraid for you that you will receive what the people before you did receive. Allah God is very angry with America in a trichology that she had used on the dead to keep them dead. You are very disappointed to Allah God and to the original black man who knows himself, and very few, of course. The false show of a glorious future that the wicked is putting on is at hand. We must remember Daniel's prophecy that at the end of the war, desolation are determined. But before this happened, Allah God will bless the people with a good time, as he did the people of the past who wronged it themselves, who did not pay attention to the prophet warning amongst them. We see Allah God destroys them. They thought that they were fooling God, but God surprised them. He made the people rejoice for a short time with a show of great prosperity. And at the height of their great prosperity, suddenly he destroys them. It's the merciful law that God has put in nature. Allah God let a dying person rally before the end. We see America is going to do the same. America will rally, and people will think that she is going to have a great future. And then the end will come in that kind of time. America end will not come while she's going around with her head hanging down and for her heart itching and failing because of the things that we see that are coming on her nation. No, she will not enjoy good times. We see the stock market are going up and lots of shares being sold. Does make any man think everything's all right? This is just only the deluge before the storm. And the Bible warns America of what happened before her. We see ancient Babylon enjoy a full ruling position at her time. But King Darius came against her at the time of her full enjoyment of wealth, drunkenness, and her laughing at the slave that she had made of Israel. King Darius came with his army, overcame the sleeping guards, who were sleeping on the security of their life. The Bible prophesies that the enemy would say, "Come, let us go up and destroy her, whose cities is not fenced in." And they will come from afar. They may come at noonday, or may come at the rising in the morning or in the afternoon. But nevertheless, they will come at a time that you thought not. So what do this mean, my brothers and sisters? This means that we see martial laws here. They will come at a time that you would never imagine. But the question is, what are you going to do? See, after this war and into the end of this war, desolation are determined. And that determination shall be poured upon the desolate. See, Daniel 9:26 and 27, I want you to know that that which will be poured, it means you, America, of you ever getting back into power again to attack this nation or this earth. Europe will become one of the worst war areas of all the world, more dreadful than Vietnam and other places that you are planning on going into. Asia will look like child play when compared to what is going to happen in Europe. The prophet says, "Whom to a land that's shallow with rings." This means America, whose skies is filled with planes. Most of the judgment and trouble which are pointed at in the Bible are pointed at America. See, study them yourself. America, right up today, with all of her battles, with her outside enemy, never lose sight. But inside of a poor old black slave, she does not want him to do anything. She wants him to be deceived. She does not want him to accept his starvation. A lot of guys offering this black one slave heaven at once. A lot of guys offering this black slave heaven at once. This he hath proven to everyone that believes in God, who follows me. I am the door, and by no means you can get by except you come by me. Your prayers will not be heard unless my name is mentioned in them. I'm saying that you cannot get a prayer through to Allah God unless you mention me in your prayers. Try and see it. I'm satisfied that those who know this will bear me witness. I have the keys to your starvation, and I have the keys to your hell. I can, if you just let me pull you out of hell and set you into heaven. Then I can keep you in heaven, or I can keep pushing you and push you into this punishment of hell until you acknowledge that there is no God but God, to whom praise are due forever, and that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is his servant. There is no escape for you today. The only way is through me, is through Allah God, me first, for you cannot get through Allah God without getting to me first. The deluge before the storms. America is trying with all of her might to hinder you from getting into heaven. See, America makes promises to you. She makes promises to me, but she does not intend to fulfill them. See, some of America's financial people promise to loan us millions of dollars, but when it comes time to do so, they vanish. The day will come when we will be able to do the same things to them. See, it is entirely up to them to make good of this day for themselves and for their people by submitting to the truth themselves, as the Bible says, the Gentile shall come to the light of your rising. So why did Jesus says the Lord will lord it over the Gentiles? See, the Gentiles will come into your light of your rising. See, America wants to destroy God and me, and she wants to destroy you by deceiving you against following me. See, America lift up all of my hypocrites and advises you to follow them, while she knows that you will be the losers. See, Look what she had done for Malcolm. See, America named university after him in order for you to follow Malcolm. See, Malcolm turned from Allah God and me and started to follow them. America will lift up any one of you that would disobey Allah God and myself and come to them. You see how they are doing. You see everyone that's a hypocrite to Allah God and me. America will raise him up for you to follow. America will glorify his name. See, Malcolm was no lover of white people. You see, he only lies to them in order to get a chance to fight me. But he was not a lover of them. See, Malcolm was a double cross. He tried to get to me with the help as it is written and prophesied that he would do. His name is not written there in the name of Malcolm. In the history, another name is used, but his work is there in the history of the hypocrites in the life of Muhammad. He tried to take advantage while Muhammad was sick. You find this in the writing of Washington Irving. Even some scientists of Islam, they can tell you Malcolm history. But the enemy today fools you. See, he did not like Malcolm. But Malcolm working against me, he used Malcolm. He knew that Malcolm had learned the history of me. He was not able to change it. And even if the enemy will glorify them, it will come to nothing. For the time as ruling power over black people is now up. They knew that better than Malcolm did. They set up for worship all hypocrites against me. Suppose we will worship China and Russia against them, but we do not worship them. Allah God is more significant than all their nations. Allah God does not see them as a power and force against him. They are so little and weak in their powers. They cannot fight against Allah and God and win. The more you fight against Allah God, the more you will lose yourself. From the Bible and from this chapter, and from now on, if you don't know that he is tricking you by making you to fall hypocrites, it is your doom. Just watch it. He trails me. He goes down to Bahamas and everywhere that he thinks that I'm going or where I have been. This is written. So I do not fault him for doing what is written of him. I try to do that which is written of me. I do not fault him for what he is made by nature to do, nor should he fault me for what by nature I am. But I fault you if you let this little transgressor of this life and our enemy deprive you of a great future for yourself. We can buy hospitals and place to educate and train our people into the superior education of the nation of the earth. But you rather give your money over to white American and let them spend it on what they want to. And they pay you a little interest. See, we offer interest too, the highest interest. But you do not trust us. So we will build right along without your help. We are going to be the winners. This process that we who believe will be the winners. And my work that was prophesied to me before I was born, you see it today. Try and find a successful one who is working in opposition to me. None of you who are trying to aid the devil against me will be successful in doing so. And the devil knows that. He is not trying to do these things himself, only with you. He knows that he will not be successful in stopping my progress, not him nor several times his number, as long as I'm with Allah God and he is with me. And that will be all the days of my life. The subject we see of this chapter is taken from the Holy Quran. We see Surah 85, verse 5. See, we do not hope for peace as long as we add to this war that which serve as a fuel to a fire. You see, the fire cannot go out as long as we keep it burning by adding more fuel. A dying burn fire is increased it when more fuel is thrown into it. There are lots of people who are so anxious for peace so that they can return to committing that which they lack in love, sport, and play. So the world that we live in desire first of all to hide the truth, to keep this black man who is made blind, deaf, and dumb by the scientific trigonometry of the right race, so that the right race can continue to carry on the same deceiving and wickedness that they have been practicing. How can we expect peace when the method used to bring about peace is the same method that started the war? Instead of finding a right solution and then practicing the right solution. I said these things for the sake of my own black people, for are so ignorant to the knowledge of the truth of the time in which we are living. What they would like to do cannot be done. For the time to even continue to do what you are doing is up. So that means the time that you are doing, my brothers and sisters, is up. All that partying, drinking, gambling, sex, and all that people doing today. See, this is why our population is in trouble. Because when I look at these cities, these states, like Houston got a big problem. Just think how many people are affected living with HIV. Houston, over 200,000 people. And you know what? Those cases is continuing to grow. Next thing you know, the doctors ain't gonna be able to hold those patients. See, just look at South Carolina. 15,000 people are infected and living with AIDS in South Carolina. Look at Atlanta. 12,000 cases. A lot of people is playing with themselves. I looked at Houston and seen that festival. People are at these festivities. See, people don't care about their life, you see. See, your life don't mean nothing to you. And that's why David says, yes, Lord, I walk through this valley of shadow of death because I feel no evil because the Lord are with me. The Lord is my shepherd. You see, black people, we got a lot of straightening up to do. So you gotta come out of America. Come out of her ways. Come out of her wicked thinking. Because I said immorality is here. And a lot of us rather get underneath that than the creator of the universe. See, Babylon, the great, the goddess queen, she was the once seducer. But notice she was no more attracted to the people. The daughters of Babylon. I want to say this to all, especially to my black woman. You know, those BBLs you have, those BBLs you get in it, them eyelashes and makeup and all this you doing because you feel you got a lot of catching up to do. When I look at my black women, because I see you very special from the Lord of creation. But But some of our black women, young women, are degrading themselves, lowering themselves into soliciting and prostitution. So you can almost drive state to state and see this. And see, when I say America and her designers dressed the women up today, about 1/3 of her dress and turn her out partially nude. See, Jeremiah 6:14 says they dress the hearts of our people as though it's serious. Peace, peace, they say, when there's no peace. Peacemakers, as they want all the world to be at peace today, but there's no peace. See, nudity is originated from the white man, but they want to tell the world that I'm the guide. But the guide to what? Because they lead you, my sisters, with evil and filth. See, evil and filth. We see murder, robbery, rape, and drug addictions are the only law and order we see today in America. That's only the law and order that are respected today. See, I say this, our people needs a savior. So I say this for the sake of my own black people. For they are so ignorant to the knowledge of the truth for the time in which we are living. What they would like to do and cannot be done, for the time to even continue to do what you are doing is up. We must remember again the prediction of the Bible. It has foretold these times. If we understand the Bible, it most certainly teaches us that there is no peace for this wicked. There is no people who preach such a thing as peace and as being true followers of the prophet Jesus. As much as the right Christians do, we see day and night their airways are full of their preaching. To hear them, you would think that they are the prophet Moses and Aaron, as the words Jesus put it, they sat in Moses' seat. See, the right Christians are great deceivers. The Pope of Rome cannot bring peace to the Christian church, for he is not enjoying peace himself. So who is that people then that the Bible prophesies of in the book of Isaiah, that he would extend peace to them like rivers? Surely it cannot be the present Christian right race, for they are the ones who are breaking the peace. You see, the fire fed with feud, leaving your own homes and countries. You go to another man's home and country to make trouble for that people, and then accuse that people of being the troublemakers. It is the attacker who is guilty of that which follows the attack. I said to you, black people, you can get away from that old misunderstanding now of the time. You are not living in a time in which you may be expecting a settlement of the war that would give you what you have already been used to: sport, play, and foolishness. Actually, now is the time that you and I should be rising up to understand that we should think for self and do for self. If you do not know how to do for self, you should follow the man to whom Allah God has given that knowledge to teach you how to do for self. With the ocean filled with the fleets of this right Christian, and the sky crowded with their death dealing planes over people territories, could you tell them that they should submit to you for peace? If you are able now to force them to their knees or to destroy them, then I say yes. If that was the situation, then I would say that they should submit and let you trumpet. But you cannot force them to their knees. They have been preparing for a war like this for nearly a century. Or what I should say, they have been preparing and working faithfully for half a century to entertain the attackers with the same type of weapons and better weapons than the weapons you are attacking them with. If you resort to worse weapons, they have worse weapons also. So we are in a time when arguments to the country of peace is like heaping fuel on a fire. It keeps it burning. We are living in an evil time. I believe, and maybe many hundreds of thousands believe as I do, that the President of the United States of America have good intentions towards the citizens of America when he took over the presidency. The times against him for the past 4,000 years or more, Allah God has already given the prophecy through the mouth of his prophets of the doom of the wicked. Now is the time, and we cannot do anything but take it. It is dangerous to add fuel to unwanted fire. The fire is the war. Now, man, heart, feeling, and fear. Now, how true we see the prophecy Jesus says in Luke 21 and 25 and 26 concerning this present time, this present day. We bear witness that the seas and waves are warring, and that fear is now covering the nation, as shown by unusual heart failures that is now occurring amongst man. These are the signs of the end of the present world. Now we see these seas and ocean are raving. Now, I want to say this to you. Tropical storm Aaron is intensifying. It's a hurricane. It's a major hurricane, that category 5. Now, just because it's not in no land interactions, I want to tell y'all this. Just because it's out and it's not in no land interaction don't means that it's not going to be where these states is not going to be impacted. Believe me, these states will be impacted. You know, some people will have wind currents. You looking at waves between, I believe they said 15 to 20 feet waves. Just look over there at Bermuda. Bermuda is going to get, you know what I mean, the most of the storm. And I say this to you guys, this storm going to leave a redneck. You know, then we got, following Aaron, we got another Invest 98L. So, you know, I'm saying this to you guys. Yeah, the seas and oceans are warring to a Fahrenheit that man never seen before. Now, I say this is another plague against the wicked. The seas and oceans are heaving up these tidal waves to a magical height that man has never witnessed before on earth. This is another pledge that's upon the wicked. Since the Holy Quran teaches that the judgment will be such that the earth itself will act as though a revelation had been revealed to it because of its perfect obedience, see, to the laws of Allah on that day. Allah will use the power that is in the earth and the sea against the world of evil. We see the right race thinks that they have control over the power of the earth, sea, and air. Now let me tell y'all, the right race think that they have power and control of the land, sea, and air. Now, I find this very interesting that this tropical Aaron was fighting a lot of shear because they want to control the land and sea. And we know that these waves from the Africa coast come off the coast every 3 days. But even though it was fighting that shear, even though it was fighting that puma dust, it still got its act together. See, they cannot control the land and sea anymore under our feet. See, God has the power of the force of nature. The white man will never have power of the land and sea and air. I want you to listen to me. Because it was prophesied that for a time they will subdue and have this use of power of the sea and ocean until he comes, who right it is to rule. The heaven and earth belongs to God. Now it is his time to rule. There is much prophecy concerning the terribleness of the judgment of the wicked. The power that is in the water is in the hands of Allah God to use it against whom he pleases. The earth, wind, rain, snow, and ice, and earthquakes, and fire are controlled by Allah God. It is a fearful sight to see the displays of his power with the force of nature, bowing and submitting to his will. I shall warn you that this is now coming into action against the Western world. There will be the destruction of whole fleets at seas, those which are capable of lying on the oceans and sea bottoms will be destroyed. See, the die is set with a foolish people who, like in the time of Noah, could not see the sign of the rain, bringing on the flood. Even as the cloud began to darken the sky, they did not see the oncoming rain until it actually started to rain. So it is with America. They pay no attention to the sign of the judgment that is now taking place. As the Bible prophesies in Revelation 16:9. They blaspheme the name of God, which has power over these pledges. How many in America, in the city of Chicago, disbelieve and even mock and swear at the name of Allah, who has power over the force of nature, land, sea, and air. Allah God is now doing as it is prophesied. The Holy Quran, Surah 13:41, visiting the land, curtain it of its size. The foolish still are foolish until he is cast to a narrow place and cannot turn to the right or left, as it was with the donkey that Balaam was riding. He came to a narrow place between two walls. He could not turn around. He had to stop face to face with the angels or be destroyed. The Bible, Numbers 22, 23, and 26. Let it be remembered that Allah God came forth for the redemption to deliver the American black people from their tormentors. Whether we like it or not, He would do this. This is the work of Allah God, which is in effect. Let America use the history of this fall and destruction of ancient Egypt and her Pharaoh. Let the history serve as a warning. There were brought to nothing for the evil done to a people whom Allah God has chosen. For example, in these last days, the law found black slaves and their slave masters. The Holy Quran, Surah 30:41 is perfectly true in its prediction of a present-day nation. We see sea, land, power. Corruption has appeared in the land and the sea on account of that which man's hands have made. The most grave mistake that the black man is making today is trying to hold on to the brief and the return of Jesus, or that he lived and preached the saving of this white man's world. See, this is false. Jesus did not preach this. See the Bible. Jesus had a few disciples. Jesus also cursed the Jews, not to mention that he was trying to save them or the Caucasian people. They are teaching a trigonometry that the white man used to deceive the black man. They do this so that our people will now understand that Jesus declared himself against the world or the Caucasian race. The Bible, he also declared that the words of truth have no place in this right race of people. They have proved this to be the truth by their mistreatment of you and me. The right race that has never worshipped any prophet before or after this as divine man of Allah God. It's against their very nature to do this. That is why they kill all other prophets that they are able to kill. They deceive the people against believing in the prophets of Allah God. For they was made in their nature to be the enemies of God and his representatives. Before this time is out, they will be forced into submission to the will of Allah God. This will not be done for the purpose of converting the right race. Allah God will force them into submission to prove that he is able to make them bow to him in submission. This is a fulfillment to the prophecy, the Bible, Isaiah 45:23. And into me, every knee shall bow and every tongue shall swear. The Bible says in Matthew 25:32, and before him shall we gather all nations. The Holy Quran has a similar prophecy that you shall see all nations kneeling before him. This includes everybody, regardless to their color. Everything in the universe obeyed the natural law in which it was made subject to by Allah God. On the coming of Allah God, he now makes everything bow to him, whether you believe or disbelieve. The Holy Quran, Surah chapter 3:82. It does not make a difference to him whether you are the devil or the righteous. All must bow in submission to the will of Allah God on this day of judgment. We are now living in a day of judgment. Now, black preachers, you erase your time today and leading yourself and those who follow you to hell. But hold on into this Christianity. Revelation 19:20. You cannot keep them in Christianity. See, Christianity was not the religion of Jesus, Moses, or any other prophet who came before them. It would have been a part of Allah, God, to have waited until just 2,000 years ago to give the right religion to the world of man. Allah, God, give the right religion, Islam, in the beginning of his creation of the heaven and earth. Allah, God, has not changed. His religion is Islam, entire submission to his will. Now, why are the nation angry? And who are the nation? They are angry at the resurrection of the dead. See, the 18th verse of the 11th chapter of the Revelation in the Bible plainly teach us that these nations are angry and mad because of the rise of the dead, and that God himself was the source of the power behind the resurrection of a rise of the mentally dead people, the black man. It is the slaveholders who have been the real cause of a mental death of the people the revelation relates to as being deprived of justice. God come to give them justice and to justify them as being equal to their slave masters as human beings. As you know, from the 400 years of legal slavery and free slavery of the American so-called nation, they had never been recognized even as a human being. As one devil says, they're only 3/5 of a human being. It is true that the history of our treatment by the devil's slave master practically made our parents and ourselves less than human beings. This is why I teach that the main right we should seek first are human rights. The American so-called Negro flew in love with his slave masters and his slave master children because of unlike attracted them and their brothers in Africa. Therefore, the manifestation of the enemy, the devil, and the resurrection makes the dead to see that which caused them to be mentally dead. And the parable of the donkey who plotted upon meeting with the angels, he saw that the burden he had been carrying on his back was false. So in the resurrection of a mentally dead so-called Negro, they are rising to a knowledge of self. This knowledge make them refuse to continue carrying the slave master as something to worship. This have angered the slave master as the donkey refused to anger Balaam. Balaam set about whooping and beating the donkey to force him as unusual to carry and respect him as his master. This use of force to compel the one slave, the black Americans, to remain with them even now in order to make them members of society is only false recognition of the black Americans. This lost and now found people of the black nation of Asia and Africa. This continuous cruelty by the white slave master inflicted upon the American so-called Negro have angered God as the cruelty the Egyptians inflicted upon the Israelites during the time of Pharaoh angered Jehovah. This is a repetition of Israel history and of Pharaoh evil in these modern times. The appearance of Jehovah and of Moses, the servant of Jehovah, to announce to Pharaoh the end of Israel's slavery. Pharaoh became angry and went to work and tried to extract and bring to nothing. Jehovah's delivery of Israel through his servant Moses. This brought Pharaoh to his end, and he and his army was cast into the Red Sea because they tried to prevent the freeing of Israel by the God Jehovah. The angry nation refers to our America and Europeans who are also enslavers of the black man. Take for instance the part that we see England, Germany, and France and Italy have all played it in enslavements of black Africans and black people throughout Africa and Asia, here in America, North and South America. There is no such thing in the nature of white people as justice and freedom for black people, especially not for blacks in the Western Hemisphere. Now the anger is running them mad, and they are attacking and killing each other. There is no such thing as peace amongst them, nor can they produce peace for others. The Holy Quran refers to this condition as the kind of hell. Surah 81, verse 12. Never before have you witnessed it, the evil that is spreading far and wide. We see in every hour of the day in America and Europe. England and America being not the first, but the chief slave makers of black people. They dislike the idea of having allowed to dispose of their power over the Negro. Though they knew this was coming, the loss of their slaves. This is the time of increase of knowledge. God has given the black man of America more light, and to this increase of divine knowledge than any black elsewhere, because he chose to make for himself a great nation out of the former slaves of America. Why America is angry at God for resurrecting the black slave to acknowledge himself and his slave master. This means that they are entering into a war with Almighty God, Allah, to try to oppose the truth of God, preached by the messengers of God. Read the second Psalms. The great commotion of the governments and people of America, the civil unrest, insurrection, mental excitement, and noisy confusion. There is no action that is being taken, nor can there be any action taken that will bring the people into a better condition of civil actions. See, white American people have practiced evil and injustice to the man in the mud, the black slave, for so long that they think that there will never be any divine action taken against them for such evil and injustice. But this is what is now affecting. It is the action of divine justice for the poor man, black slave. Allah God and the person of Master Fala Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever, has the power, and he's using his power on the wicked to bring them to their knees. Allah God is the greatest, and there is no equal to him. God can take us by our own way of thinking and spin us as though we are a play toy. We cannot fight a successful fight against him. He is too powerful. He listens in on our thinking, and he is capable of making us to think and to do that which he desired to be done. The great commotion we see today is witnessed it by the nation of the earth. For it is America whom Allah God is after for a mistreatment of the poor so-called Negro, the lost found original black members of their nations. America mistreated and killed it, her black slave, for sport. But America's days is drawing to a close, and she will not have the freedom to mistreat the black slave much longer, as the mistreatment we see an Egyptian practice against Israel came to an end. so will the mistreatment of the black slave by white America come to an end. America has so blinded and made deaf, dumb, the black man America, her black one slaves, that she makes empty promises to the black slave, and he will accept her false promises and forsake the true promises of Allah God, to whom praise are due forever, who is here offering us heaven at once. The great commotion will continue in America until this commotion had destroyed the power of opposition, the disasters. The title of this chapter is taken from the Holy Quran. We see Surah 101, 1 through 4. The disaster. What is the disaster? We'll make you know how terrible is the disasters in the English language according to the Resper dictionary. The word disaster means they state a deep distress, misery caused by major misfortune or loss, or a great event marked by great loss, lasting distress and affliction. Such disaster is now prevailing in America. It's getting worse daily. The third verse of this chapter we see of the Holy Quran, Surah 101, verse 3, asks a question. And will make you know how terrible is the disaster. The answer is given in the fourth verse. The day wherein men will be as scattered as moths. You do not have to ask anyone whether or not this warning of the Holy Quran is now being fulfilled. We see this fulfillment of this prophecy with our eyes and hear with our ears. These great disasters that are now striking America. We see the great division, the great disagreement, disunity, and murder immense. We see the great amount of raping and murdering girls and women. There's great robbery and thieves going on every hour of the day and night. There are great storms and adverse weather conditions. There are minor earth tremors and hailstorms. There are signs and wonders of signs being displayed in the heaven and earth, and on the sea and land. There is unusual behavior of children. There is unusual love or dislike of children by mothers and fathers, and destruction of the process of childbirth. There is the great disaster of starvation and great destruction of health and life by the use and administering the poison drugs, which is practiced upon those who are free and those who are bound. What had been known as America is threatened it today with total destruction. America is destroying herself in her effort to destroy her black slaves. The water we see and air of America are being polluted by chemical use. America's scientists of war conduct dreadful experiments on how best to kill human beings by the millions, to wipe out the life of whole continents now. Now, I want to say this to you. They got scientists to conduct dreadful experiments on how best to kill human beings by the millions. Black people, I want to tell you guys, you got to wake up now. Your time of out playing and partying, all that's up. You got to start coming and getting yourself right with God, because they want to continue on to humiliate us. Just think how many people are going to die by this year. How many people are affected with this virus, and they just humiliate us because look, they're making black people an example. They're trying to say black people is carrying disease to the community. Now look at these states they name. Houston, 200,000 people affected. That number is blowing my mind. South Carolina, Atlanta, See, American Scientists Award is conducting dreadful experiments on how best to kill human beings now, about in millions, and wipe out life for whole continents now. Now, how many people you think you're going to die that's living, that's being affected? So they planning is to kill human beings by the million and wipe out the life of whole continents. See, these are the days of fulfillment of prophecy of not one but of many disasters. In all of these preparations, we see a destruction of human life by the devil. We see Allah God too has planned to save his people. So Allah God has claimed over this black slave as being his people, and his white slaveholders is angry because of the loss of the black slave by the virtue of this claim. Now, why do you think they are angry? Because they know that God is here now. They've been knowing, brothers and sisters, they've been knowing this prophecy for a long time before we even knew. Some of us is just now catching up. But they know their time is here. This is why they're deploying militant. And the more crime, you know what I mean, we do towards ourselves, this is why they come to try to make example. This is why you give them permission to come. Because it's you, my black people, are killing each other. See, you're not killing each other of the oppression of justice, but you are killing each other because look at the color he's wearing. See, look at the car he has. See, look at the nice women he may have. You see. See, we knew who was the oppressor. But I said, it is you, black man. Are killing. It's you, black man, are destroying yourself. It's you, black women, are degrading yourselves. Now we have to come to understanding of what God is here for. To bring us together. See, I just love to look at my black people. And looking at them today, you see how smart they have become. So I want to say this to you. We must rise to an occasion. Because I'm here to say, America, the giant of the earth they talk about, this Goliath of this earth. We have to get together for spiritual feasts. I said, in other words, understanding who your brothers may be. I've been saying this, that the black, brown, red, and yellow are half brothers. And we got to come to understanding that this beast of the earth, Goliath, they talk about, you see, I want to say this to you. We see the sword today are within and the sword without. See, trouble seems to have no end. We see with tens of millions of black people today crying for freedom, justice, and equality. And you see the black man today, he's greatly deceived by the arch deceivers. So this is why God comes to straighten out this crookedness. This is why he comes to move this rubbish wicked. As we all can once say, white man's world. So now that Allah God has come to take this black slave away from enemy white slaveholders and join the black slave into his own kind again. The enemy white slaveholders hates this, but Allah God has the power to force the enemy white slaveholders to submit to his will. It is the will of Allah God that the enemy white slaveholders let these black slaves go free. Allah God promised concerning the white slaveholders and the black slave. The Bible, Isaiah 43, verse 6. I'll say to the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my son from afar, and my daughter from the end of the earth. America, let our people go. And since Allah God has now claimed it, the black slave, giving them the truth, Allah God has called the black slave who accepted the truth by his name. The black slave who accepted the truth of his greatness and being one of the righteous nation of his kind belong to Allah God. The book must be fulfilled, wherein a prophecy that he will claim them to be his own elect. At such time as the destruction of America, if Allah God has not chosen some of the people of America, the black slave, to be his people, there would not have been any flesh saved from America. The Bible, Mark 13:20, teach us, and except that the Lord has shortened those days, no flesh will be saved. But for the elect's sake, whom he has chosen, he has shortened the days. The black slave must know that this is a time of the judgment of both the white slaveholders and the black slaves. The black slave must learn to know his place in the judgment. The place of the black slave is with Allah, God, and his own black people. The black slave had been deprived of knowledge of his God and his own black people. Allah God has come and brought the black slave the truth. If the black slave refused to accept the truth, he would be destroyed for willingly and knowingly rejecting the truth when the truth have come in its malice. Disaster in the country of America. No secret can remain hidden, for the chastisement of Allah God will not let you hide it. As one writer prophesies in the Bible, Isaiah 18 verse 1, whom to a land shadow with wings. This prophecy is referring to America, which have a cloud of plains, shadowing the skies over America almost daily. Now, can America exist See, the coming of this white man into the Western hemisphere was for the purpose of expansion away from his brethren in Europe. We see Europe was divinely given to the right race as a home when they were driven out of Arabia 6,000 years ago to abide there on that continent until the days of reckoning comes to them. These are the days of reckoning for the right race, as the religious scholars and scientists agree. But because of their nature, we see evil, they cannot help doing evil things against the righteous. They make war against the righteous, the black man, to prevent him from accepting righteousness and in doing the righteousness. Today, the black man in America we see is a prey into the strong, powerful hands of his enemy, the children of their slave masters. For 400 years, the slave master had mistreated their slave, and now, in the days of their redemption, they're doing everything possible to deceive them from accepting their starvation. That Allah now offers to the black man of America. So strong is Allah's love for us that he now desires nothing but a total destruction of America. They hate me with a bloody hatred, and they tried to kill me for teaching the truth to my people. They do not want this black man of America to enjoy freedom and justice and equality. Look what they did to Reverend Martin King, a man who was trying to be their brothers, a man who probably thought that he did not want to draw the white man's blood. He said, if there was any blood to be spilled, let it be this black man's blood. His words came true. Poor man. He was without the knowledge of self, his God, and religion, and so with fear of his 400-year-old enemy, that he could never get starvation from his people, from the enemy. See, America has been blessed ever since her father came across the Atlantic out of the confines of Europe until this day. Now for evil done to a slave, God threatened her with total destruction. America and Germany are the most evil of the right race. These two governments have been blessed, but they have not shown any worthwhile respect to God for his blessing. Allah God calls people out of all the nations of earth to come to America. They came seeking the heaven and her, but those who came was evil too. As the Revelation language teach us, we see Revelation 18 verse 2, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon, America, the great, we see is falling, and we see it has become the habitation of devils, and a hold every foul spirit, and a cage every unclean and hateful birds, hateful animals. There is no people we see, no country on earth who will feel this prophecy better than America and her people. She has become a house filled with evil practices, and where every member we see of the nation taking part. Yet she has been blessed with a great harvest of food, which is enough to feed the nations of the earth, and for great advancements into the heights of her mechanical knowledge, and with her great wealth and silver and gold that enabled her once upon a time to command the valued silver and gold of the world. But as it is written in all of this growing up of wealth and power, the act of justice was led at the root of this great tree of prosperity and authorities of the nation of the earth to be used by the Holy One to put a stop to the evil practice and injustice to the righteous. America has prospered it from the labors of her black slave, She pays the black man high wages and salaries, then take them back from him through the high cost of living. This high cost of living and trying to live according to the way the white man lives keeps the black man down. And when he has acquired the education of the white man but is unable to compete with the white man, he becomes dissatisfied to the degree of creating trouble to find a way to self-prosperity against the will of the white man, which is to keep the black man in a condition of poverty, want, and disregard as equal human beings. Yet while the white man teaches that all human beings are created accordingly, at the same time he robs this black man of a chance to be the equal of other human beings. Can America exist with all of her wicked doing against this black man and America in a state of inequality with other human beings? The continued existence of America and the way of governments and power over people other than her own depends on the way she will continue to treat her one slave, the black people of America, due to the prophecy of the Bible from Moses to Jesus and Muhammad. The prophets saying, these prophets teach us that a coming showdown between Allah God and the slaveholders of his black America must come to pass. So we see the coming of God and the slaveholders of his people, black America, must come to pass. The time, my brothers and sisters, has arrived of this prophecy of the defender coming to defend the prey, so-called nigger, who is held in bondage by the white slaveholders, who have and are still mistreating their prey to the extent that the world is in sympathy with the prey for justice. Now it is prophesied that a just ruler will come, and he has come to set up a rule or kingdom under laws of justice for a people who have lived under the law of injustice by unjust rulers. This must be fulfilled. If the next government for the people universally going to be under such a glorious rule of freedom, justice, and equality, it is natural that the old ruler will oppose a new ruler coming to remove him and his authorities to rule the people. He will fight to keep his place and authorities over the people. This is why Allah threatened his opponents with the final declaration of war that will end the opponent's opposition to his laws of righteousness. I have been writing for many years of the coming doom of the world of Christianity, and mainly America, who is the root and the cause of this present judgment of America. The judgment of America is due to the way that she has treated the so-called the black people of America for 400 years. The very hour on which I'm writing, America is still mistreating her one slave with this worst kind of treatment ever according to human beings. America passed away of her father's treatment of the American so-called under what she called law of freedom. But this freedom is only in words, not in practice. The slave master children's blood, hearts, and way of thinking towards the one slave is the same as their fathers. They find it so free to beat and kill the one slave, so-called at will, that they will continue this practice of mistreating and murdering the slave day and night because there is no law of justice for the black man of America, who is the property of their fathers of America rights citizens. America never think in terms of being equally punished for the wrong done to the so-called Negro. The Bible parable of Balaam riding a donkey must be remembered. When the angels went to settle the unjust mistreatment of the donkey by Balaam, the angel found Balaam still beaten and forcing a donkey to carry him right in the presence of the visiting angel who was carrying a sword to bring about the justice between the two. It is almost impossible to say that America can exist. If America is to exist, America ruling powers, it will make prophets of the Bible and even the Holy Quran prophesize other than the truth. It is impossible to make them out liars who wrote the doom of the race that will come at a certain time, and that certain time is now known. The time could be prolonged as the Messiah that the world had been looking for to come for 2,000 years. Desire, for he does what he pleases. This does not mean that he will change the idea of the doom and destruction of America. But if he pleased, he could extend her time if she done almost a marvelous thing, like submitting to the righteousness taught and delivered to the mentally dead slave, so-called Negro. This is the only way America can exist, by bowing in submission to the will of God, taught by his messengers. The time that we are now in is a time of the anger of God against the evil doers. It is a time that God of the righteous rejoices to repay the evildoers for their doing and to reward the righteous for their righteousness. Therefore, to curb this set day, a doomed demand for the doing of righteous, which by nature was not put in the right race. But they may yet be smart enough to bow, to put a stay to the execution for a few days longer, not by intermixing with a slave to enjoy as long as they are blind, deaf, and dumb and do not understand. This act only hastens their doom, while the foolish, blind, deaf, dumb, so-called does not even know that he is being blind, deaf, and dumb to his slaughter. There is no such thing that the evil rule peace. Also, the wicked, according to the prophet Jeremiah and Isaiah, are the ones who had destroyed the peace from amongst men. My advice to the white man is to make haste. Get in a hurry if you want to live. Bow and submit to that great truth and righteousness, the will of God. What will be the end of this war? Many of you may think if America ends a war in Asia, it will bring peace and prosperity to the people of America. Perhaps someday there may be a lull in a war, but not now. If America and Asia can find a way to bring about peace of the war between each other, this does not mean that peace, prosperity is assured. Now at this time, there's still this Cold War between America and Russia and other parts of Europe to be reckoned with. Europe will become a dreaded spot when America leaves Asia. It is true as the prophet has predicted that America must come out of Asia or be thrown out. Each, America and Russia, the two most powerful war factors of the world, is seeking to maintain their rule over the nation of Earth, and even to conquer outer space. This will not last long, and a travel investigation into space, Allah God is permitting them to peep into his great unequal creation of power and might, the heaven and earth. The Holy Quran teaches that when Allah God gets ready to destroy people, he opens the door of heaven to them. He gives them a peep into his great wisdom and secret. But this does not mean that this adds power to the enemy to be able to war against the Creator. The reason for all this is due to the fact Allah God is setting up a kingdom of righteousness, freedom, justice, and equality. Black brothers do not look for high paying jobs, drawing a big roll of money after the war unless with the help of Allah God. You prepare this for yourself, which I advise you to do. The most dreadful divine judgment that have ever been witnessed by man are now coming on America. America is the divine target because she could have better herself. In the divine eyes of Allah God, who came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever. But America did not and will not better herself, as it is written and prophesied concerning ancient Babylon and Egypt. We have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. The Bible we see, Jeremiah 51, verse 9, because she was not willing to do justice by her captive Jews from Jerusalem. So it was with Pharaoh we see, when Allah Jehovah went after Egypt. The Bible, Exodus, Pharaoh refused to give justice to Israel and made war against Allah Jehovah and his prophet Moses to prevent Israel from going free of Pharaoh's enslavement of them. The war we see, America cannot win the victory. It is impossible, we see, for America to be the victor in this universal war because of divine intervention against her. Although she have enough deadly materials manufactured to try to win. Can she win against God? She boasts of her materials and being able to destroy the people of earth 30 times. If she was left free to use her materials, maybe America could win. But the divine die was set against her long before she ever became America. She can try and boast of her idea of mind to deceive her black slave. But she will deceive herself and them. America is made manifest by Almighty God, to whom praise are due forever, that she is a total deadly enemy against her one slaves. For many years, I have written that America's greatest sin is evil done to her black slave. Allah God tends to repay her for what she has done. She deceived the black slave right at the point of total destruction. She tried to rule the so-called Negro in with false and temporary promises by offering him high political jobs to keep him from turning his attention to self and kind. The black politicians could and should use this political knowledge to benefit self and kind. White America isolated the messenger of God from their minds with these false promises and make them to hate the messenger of God and to work against him, although the messenger of God is working for the interests of the black slaves. The eyes and ears of Allah God are open, looking and listening to their actions. It's not necessary for Allah God to use mechanical devices. Allah God is physically will, and he has will physical eyes and ears. He is capable of seeing and hearing everything we do and say. He has power to defeat us in our plans which are against his plans. The American slaveholders want to deceive the so-called nigger and to believe in that Allah God is not paying attention to them. The white man wants them to believe that he is the God that they should pay attention to. I warn my people who believe an idea that the white man is a God that they should pay attention to, you will come up the losers. Allah God is backing me up in the work he has given me to do. The work he has given me to do is for your own black starvation. If you think that you have starvation with the white man, then go ahead with him. I'm not here to force you against your own will, but I want you to know that if you are looking to white America for your starvation, you are headed with them to your and their destruction. There is no hope for America to win the war. There is no hope for the black man and the future of America. For America have no future for herself. She will not be able to win the war. See, the scholars and scientists know that America cannot win. It is not just I alone saying this, brothers and sisters. The scholars and scientists will tell us America cannot win, and we know by divine prophecy that America cannot win. If it was just Russia, we see, and China and Vietnam and Korea using their judgment on how best to destroy each other, maybe America could win. For she have as much as they have in war, material, scientific preparation. America is capable of going out of the atmosphere of the earth and to fight them from there. But she will not be able to go out of the atmosphere of the earth and destroy the black man of the earth. It is only a mistake that one should believe in America's ability to build a station on the air or on the moon. For she will not be able to use it against us. Divine plans is set to destroy her. We have many things out there in space that can be brought into actions against America or any other nation today. For Allah is the greatest. The mother planes. The mother planes was made to destroy this world of evil, to show the wisdom and mighty power of the God who came to destroy an old world and set up a new world. See, the nature of a new world is righteousness. The nature of a new world cannot be righteousness as long as unrighteousness is in its midst. The same type of plane was used by the original God to put mountains on his planet. Allah God came in the person of Master Fala Muhammad, whom praise are due forever, is wiser than any God before him. As the Bible and Holy Quran teach us, he taught me that this plane would be used to raise mountains on this planet Earth. The mountains that he will put on this earth would not be very high. He would rise these mountains to a height of 1 mile over the United States of America. This reminds us of the prophet prediction of this time, a destruction of the old world and the bringing in of a new world. Behold, the Lord makes the earth empty and makes it waste and turn it upside down and scatter abroad the inhabitants thereof. Bible Isaiah 24, verse 1. There are planes in various nations today, but this is the mother of them all. Why? Because this type of plane was used before the making of this world. Why should God make such a sign of his power to destroy a nation? Because this is the final destruction of that people who have opposed God and his purpose and aim for righteousness and justice. So the white race is not a people who was made righteous and then turned to unrighteousness. It was made unrighteousness. So Allah God and the person of Master Fala Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever, taught me that this plane is capable reaching a height of 40 miles above the earth. His words could have been a sign meaning 40 years in which the plane will go into action. And that referring actually to 40 miles. Allah God does not speak one word that does not have a meaning. Every word that he speaks has a meaning. The mother plane, according to what has been described of it by the devil's scientists, is capable of not only staying up for a long period of time, but it is also capable of confusing the scientists. They want to attack and destroy it. But if a plane did get close enough to attempt to carry out this purpose, it will be destroyed instead. The white men have learned it, that this is not a plane to be played with. Planes come out of the Mother Plains. In the 1930s, the Canadian newspaper reported that they saw the Mother Plane. It came down out of the skies. They admitted that it looks like a great city, and that something came down from it and appears to be a tube. But that tube-like thing went back up again. Allah God came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever, taught me that for 6 months to a year, the mother plane comes into gravity of the earth. It takes on oxygen and hydrogen in order to prevent it to stay out of the earth gravity until it needs refueling again. Ezekiel, prophecy of the will. Ezekiel saw the mother plane in a vision. According to the Bible, he looked up and saw this plane. Ezekiel 1:16. He called it a will because it was made like a will. A plane that is will shaped can turn any direction at any time. He admitted that the plane was so high that it looks dreadful, and that he cried out, "O will." Ezekiel chapter 10:13. Ezekiel saw great works going on in the will, and 4 living creatures. And their work was as it were a will in the middle of the will. Ezekiel 1:16. And when the living creatures went, the will went with them. And when the living creature was lifted up from the earth, the will was lifted up. Ezekiel 1:19. The power of the lifting up of the 4 creatures was in the will. The 4 creatures represent the 4 colors of the original people of the earth. There are 5 great powers of the nations of the earth. The 5 powers are the black, brown, yellow, red, and white, are the 4 original powers. The red is not an equal power. The vision shows the 4 creatures being lifted up from the earth. And when the wheel was lifted up, they was lifted up. And when the wheel stood, they stood. This means that they rated upon the movement of the will. In Ezekiel vision concerning the will, he says that he heard the voice of one tell the others to take hold of fire, scattered over the cities. This means bombs, my brothers and sisters. It can mean fire too, however. However, the plan is to drop bombs, which will be ultimately be timed to boil quickly to a position of 1 mile below the surface of the earth, where there are time to explore. Allah God has taught me that these bombs are not to be dropped into the water. They are to be dropped only on the city. It will be the work of the will. The will is the power of the 4 creatures, namely the 4 colors of the black man, the black, brown, yellow, and red. The red Indian is to benefit also for the judgment of the world. We must remember that God comes to separate from the righteous that which is hindering the righteous from making progress, and to destroy the effect of the poison of that which has opposed the righteous. The effect of the poison will be fully destroyed at the destruction of the source of the poison which has poisoned the righteous. It's like one being bitten by a rattlesnake. Quickly, medication is administered in order to minimize the effect of the poison upon flesh and blood until a complete cure is effected and the patient is well again. It is useless to try to ignore Ezekiel's vision of the will, for the make and destructive works of the will was foretold before it came to pass. The disbelievers believe that which he see present and not that which is prophesied to come. That is why he is the losers and take the course to hell, because he disbelieved in that which is prophesied to come about in a particular day. This is what the enemy is trying to do today with the black man. He's fascinating him with sport and play and the doing of evil to keep him from going to the God who is present. You never thought the day will come when you see your wife, mother, an old grave-headed woman walking down the street today, half nude. A few years ago, they would not have dared to come out into the public like that. But now they do so because the devil has put his approval on this kind of attire. They desire to please the devil. They do whatever the devil bid them to do. The devil desired to take this black man with him to his doom. Let us not classify the prophet as liars and ignore the prophecy, for we may cause ourselves destruction through belief in the devil instead of the belief in the God of righteousness. There is no equal of the mother plains. It's the reason why she is called the mother plains. The mother plane is made for the purpose of destroying the present world. She has no equal. Do not be surprised at the make of this plane, since it's from the God who made the universe of floating planets and stars which are supported only by the power of Allah and their rotations and their orbits. Allah God came in the person of Master Fala Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever, taught me that the mother plane is like a human-made planet. It's not simple for Allah God to make a new planet if He wants to. I'm gonna tell y'all, man, these mother planes. I'm gonna tell y'all, inside these planes is a new human-made planet. Why you think God is gonna come to destroy this old world and bring in a new world? You see, the mother planet is like a new human-made planet, the New Jerusalem. Read that Revelation chapter. God is going to send a new Jerusalem, a new planet. See, the mother planet is like a new human-made planet. So Allah God, to whom praise are due forever, taught me that the mother plane is a little human-made planet. It's not simple for Allah God to make a new planet if He wants to now. Now, why you think they're here? I'm telling you why they're here. To make a new planet, to destroy this old civilization and to bring in a new civilization. See, don't be a fool, because they don't tell you. They don't tell you why they're here. I'm telling you. Let me tell you. Since mainstream media can't tell you, let me tell y'all why the mothership is here. Because your scientists, your teachers, your scholars, your preachers, they can't tell you. But I'm gonna tell you. All you gotta do is watch this video again. I'm telling you why they're here. Because I've been telling you all along they're here to destroy America and set up a new civilization. The old world must be moved in order for a new world to come in. So Allah God, to whom praise are due forever, taught me that the mother plane is a little human-made planet. It's not simple for Allah God to make a new planet if He wants to. The mother plane is capable of staying out of the Earth's gravity for a whole year. She is capable of producing her own oxygen and hydrogen as any other planet is able to do. The mother plane carrying the same type of bombs on her that our black scientists dropped on the planet Earth to bring up mountains out of the Earth after the planet Earth was created. The knowledge how to do this had not been given to the world right race, nor would they get this kind of knowledge. So the knowledge of the world is limited. If the devil would get this kind of knowledge, we could just say that we are goers. However, they are not able to attain this kind of knowledge. What does a 6-day-old baby right race look like? Trying to compete with a 6-year-old child, black nation. But a 6-year-old child can run all out in the yard and play. He can eat solid food. Power of the 6-day-old baby is limited. The knowledge and power of this world, life, white race is limited. The world of the white man was made from what he found and what he has seen and learned for the work of the original black man. The white race is far from being able to equal the power and wisdom of the original black man. The mother plane in her work is a display and the power of the mightiest God, to whom praise are due forever. It is the wisest and best known. He is the mightiest of them all. Old Will said the prophet Ezekiel, she was so high up in the sky that she looks dreadful. She is capable of staying away from you, who plans the destruction of her. She is capable of confusing you, will try to reach her with your means of destruction. There are scientists on the mother planes who know what you are thinking about before the thought materialized. Holy Quran Surah 50:16. Therefore, it is impossible to try to attack the mother plane. She can attack you, but you cannot attack her. The mother plane can hide behind other stars and make herself invisible to the eyes, because she does not have to wait on the power from the earth. She can produce her own power to go wherever she desires, to go in space. So the mother plane is not like your little bullets or cameras, which are powered by your limited power. The Bible prophesies that today Allah God wished to make known to us that He is God. He wished to be respected as the superior God. He wished all life in the universe to know that He is the greatest. The Muslim recognize Allah God to be the greatest. He always repeat, you are the greatest. There is no God like unto you, none deserve to be served or worshipped besides you. Almighty will, I repeat that there is plenty to make of the mother plane. There is much to the course operation of her work. Space here in this book is limited, but what Allah God taught me concerning the mother plane can be put into book forms. O will make to rock the earth and to heave up mountains upon the earth. O will destroy a nation. No wonder the prophet Isaiah prophesied that the earth shall read to and fro like a drunkard. Now, the earth is going to read to and fro like a drunkard. And it's not talking about people going to get drunk, but it's going to be people that's going to be still dead. And when you see the commotion, the confusion, you're going to see people, it's going to be a drunken riot out there. When these earthquakes gets going and people going to be partying and drinking and going about their time. And then you're going to see people running from the streets. See, I'll be down, y'all. If I'm in those popular states like Los Angeles, and see, when you get trapped in those states, you ain't gonna be able to get out. But everybody be trying to get out. Be everybody crowded. So I say this, the day of decision we have. See, the Holy Quran, chapter 78, verse 2 of a tremendous announcement. We see this day of decision. We are now living in a time which we must decide on. What shall we do? It is very important that we arrive at a solution, come to a defined agreement. You black men of America are holding back your decisions. You are waiting because of the people who have brought their decision to you by the way of rule. The rule is in a way of injustice, Now the God of justice is before us, and we must decide upon whether or not we will accept a change of rulers or remain under the present rule that is passing from the scene. We must decide rightly in order to relieve the people oppression of injustice. Let our decision be for the benefits of our present and our future generations. We have no objection to that person who makes up his mind to remain in what he is already in. However, this announcement of great importance is laid before you and me, so that we may come to some kind of decision, agreement on what we shall do about the truth of this announcement. The announcement is the truth, is asking us to decide on whether or not we are going to accept the truth or remain in falsehood. It is called the day of decision. Decide this day which God you shall serve, a God of freedom, justice, and equality, or the same old wicked God who rule Allah God is here to bring an end to. The wicked ruler veiled the eyes of the people with falsehood so that the people may take falsehood for truth and truth for falsehood. This is what the Bible and Holy Quran teach us. All of the important announcements made by the prophet from Moses to the present day, the enemy of truth had deceived the people and made the people think that they was listening to falsehood. They made the people think that the prophet and his God was too weak to prevail over falsehood with truth. What is said here and is right is directed to the black man in America. He is the real one who must decide on whether or not to remain in what he is in or accept a better world that is ruled by the God of freedom, justice, and equality. My black brothers, I want you to know that you are in a pitiful condition here in this day in which the announcement is being made to you to make up your mind about what you are going to do. In plain words, I wish to write here and tell you that you do not have a long time in which to decide on what you want to do. Thinking that you have a long time to decide. It's a mistake that people will make in the past. Knows people, Locke's people was the losers for ignoring the announcement for these worthy prophets. They waited for they thought that what they had was going to continue to be. We here in America do not have to wait and see. For America is folding up under divine chastisement and destruction. It's taking place before your and my eyes. Also, we see the Bible and Holy Quran prophesies of these days of what is going on. See, these days are the days of judgment of Allah God against this wicked. To see more may mean the end of your life and my life, as it was with the people of Noah and Lot, who waited to see more. They cannot come to a decisive point of agreement. They waited, and maybe you too will wait. To wait for the truth to be fulfilled means that we will suffer the consequences of the truth for not accepting the truth, a day of decision. As there was opponents of the prophets in the past, we have opponents and the prophets in these modern times. With all of the warning that was given before these days, we can make our decision so easily. Remember, the people of Noah had no prophets nor scriptures before Noah. Again, remember that even as late as the time of Moses, the people of Moses, the Israelites had no previously scriptures before Moses. You black brothers are better off. You have all of the scriptures that was given to the prophets throughout the whole 6,000 years of the white man on the planet Earth. And then you will be so foolish as to delay in making a good decision until you see something happen, as Holy Quran and the Bible teach us, or until you see the angels coming in a cloud of heaven before you make up your mind. But still, you probably will reject that. Surely it will not come in a cloud of heaven. But as the Holy Quran teach you, it will not be a good day for you who have waited for such time. When angels come in a cloud of heaven, they will not be coming to do anything like preaching or giving you further knowledge. It is prophesied on the day of judgment. The angel will come to execute judgment on you for not believing, and to save those who do believe. The preachers, the messengers, is the first to be judged. The angels come to execute judgment on those who did not believe the message. The angels in the time of Lot are a good warning to you today. Those people was lost, for the angels came to execute judgment on opponents and disbelievers alike, in the city of the plain where he was living. See, the day of decision only means the resurrection and judgment of the present world as Jesus prophesied as it was in the days of Noah, Abraham, and Lot. So will be today. There was eating, drinking, and having a good time as they call it. But it's not a good time. It is a wicked time we see. The history teaches us that by waiting there was the losers, but yet it will be the same today. It is the same for what is going on now. You are accepting this truth, and you are accepting falsehood instead. See, naturally, the enemy of truth is angry with the bearers of truth, because by nature the enemy was not made the truth, he was made the falsehood. But again, the Bible teaches us that whosoever believes the same shall be saved. This is true, whether he is white or black. If a white man, woman, boy, or girl believe, even though by nature they are not the real righteous, their faith will get them out of the hell that Allah God threatened this world with, and the time will be prolonged. I'm sure that you know this. They also know this, and reading it of them will escape if they have the faith in Allah God in His religion, Islam, as Jesus prophesied in the Bible. Even though an enemy give one of his least one a believer a drink of water, and that being an act of goodness, God will not deprive that act of goodness of its reward. See, make up your mind. Come to the right decision. I warn you. When shall you see all things? Jesus prophesied that when we see the fulfillment of prophecy at this time, then we shall know by such acts of the people. We see strange actions that we have never witnessed before carry on by the people. Know that the end is near, even at the door.